Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Warren at Statewide News Service, jbiztechphilly.com, and now columnist for the Jewish Press.
And I'm having a lot of fun with all of those assignments, and my column in the Jewish Press is called Albany Beat, and I write about how government relates to the Jewish community, or doesn't, as the case may be. And with us today is a friend of the Jewish community, Bill Clay. He's an Albany County legislator from way out by New Corner Road and beyond.
That's
but
right.
Welcome to the Jewish View. It's so good to see you here.
Thank you so very much. It's my pleasure being here.
And how long have you been on the county legislature?
I'm in my 13th year,
And you're how old now?
80.
80. So you were 67 when you decided to say, I'm going to run for county legislator.
Yeah.
You know, most people are saying, I want to retire.
Yeah, actually, I was a county committee person probably, I would guess probably 10, 15 years prior to running for office.
Yeah.
So,
But there's a big difference between being a county committee person and being a county
oh,
legislator.
absolutely. Oh,
so
yeah.
are you living the dream? Are you?
Well, I'm not sure I'm living the dream, but I'm enjoying what I do.
Are you politically? Is it in your bones? Are you politically Is it bred into you? I mean, did you come from a political family? I mean, is this something that you?
No. All my life, I've been a people's person. I just enjoy people.
Okay.
And everything I've done in my life in terms of my working career has been dealing with people. And so that's been my life, dealing with people. And so I guess I took that into the political world. Mm-hmm. And where I'm enjoying myself.
What are the dimensions of your district or the boundary lines in general? I mean, I know that some of these districts.
Oh yeah, the way they're cut up.
Yeah, no, but just
But
generally.
my district is right on the border of Guilderland, off of Corner Road
To the west.
to the west, and the other way it's right on the line Colony
To the north.
onto the north.
Right.
Right.
And
And then the other way I go up to SUNY University up that far. And
lucky you.
yeah.
Or at least the Albany portion, because there's one of the towers and one of the dorms is in Guilderland.
That's right.
So you're
Yeah.
on the.
I share that with Frank Camiso, the majority leader.
I see.
He has the other part of it.
Well, you couldn't share it with a better person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so it's cut up kind of odd.
Yeah.
I skip and I go way up to the underpass off of Central Avenue, which I believe it's
Like Yardborough.
Yarborough, exactly.
Yeah. And where the flooding always happens.
Yes. So how I got up there, I'm not sure, but
But doesn't this lend itself to people to question, I mean, in this county, or the city of Albany, which is heavily Democratic, that you could just draw cubes, like blocks and squares, and everyone would still get elected. You still wouldn't have a Republican challenger of any sort. So why not just draw them as simply as possible, even in a city that's so dominantly Democratic?
I don't know the answer to that. When I first ran, I had pods of Colony, and I did have a Republican challenger, and I won fairly well.
Yeah.
And so I've been reelected since then.
Right.
And no one has ever ran. That's the only challenger I've had.
Uh-huh.
No one's ran against me since.
You're doing a good
Republican
job
or
then.
Democrat.
Yeah, you must be doing a good job. Well, the Democrats wouldn't dare touch you.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I mean, we have some discord in the Democratic Party as well, like any other group. But you know, I like to believe. Some time ago, actually this year, the Time Union did an article on me on a really a nice article in terms of my religious and my church duties. And I was asked by the reporter, what do you attribute your longevity to? And two, you're the only African American in the history of the Albany County government that's been elected to represent a majority district,
A white majority
a
district.
white majority district.
Right.
And so I said, well, I go back to one of the things that Dr. Martin Luther King said, and that I hope people elected me on the basis of my character, not my color.
Right.
And so that's,
And you know who else says that? Sam Fine, who's just the opposite of you, who's a the only Jewish legislator in the
That's
county
correct.
legislature.
That's correct.
But he's in a majority district.
Yes, he
that
is.
was, that had two minorities running, and they split the vote.
and he won. And incidentally, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. He's a great
So
legislator.
it just shows that it doesn't really matter about the color of your skin, it's the content of your character.
I think that's a shining example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like for our young people to look at that and take heart that you can get elected to office regardless to where you live. And
You just can't get elected to office in the city of Albany regardless of your party affiliation.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true.
But it's
That's true.
interesting. There was a long-time story about in 1976, Rastus Corning, he endorsed Jimmy Carter for president. He was one of the first big city mayors to do that. So Jimmy Carter came up from Plains, Georgia to kiss Erastus's ring and to say, thank you. And Erastus said, I just don't want to be a name on your letterhead. I want to help you. So Erastus, so Jimmy says, well, the first thing you could do is give me the list of all the Democrats in the city of Albany. So Erastus opens up his bottom desk drawer, takes out the Albany City phone book and says, here. And that was all that's all they wrote.
Well, that's about true.
That's about it.
And this discussion could go on and on why Albany has remained under a Democratic control for all these years.
Is it healthy?
It's kind of a long story.
Is it healthy?
Well, I think it depends on how you look at it.
Well, how do you look at it?
Well, I think it's healthy only that the people have decided what they wanted. That's the only reason it's healthy. That leads into the move to cut the numbers of the legislators.
Yes.
From 39, which we currently have, 29 which are Democrats, and 10 which are Republicans and/or independent.
Right.
And
Like Rich Mendick is a conservative,
Yes.
but he caucuses with the Republicans.
yes,
So that's what you mean by
Yes.
it? Okay.
but so it kind of goes back to your earlier question, is that the people decided they wanted that 39 legislators. And who is to say, in place of the people, that we need to cut it? Now, you get the argument, well, we're the largest county legislators in the state. That's all very true.
Right.
But I happen to believe that it's not the numbers, it's the representation that we give the people. And counter to the other argument, if people wanted to change the makeup of the legislature, they would do it at the polls.
And have they had a chance to do it at the polls?
Well, we've had public hearings after public hearings, and you know how many people showed up for these public hearings?
3, 4, 5,
At best.
at best.
And sometimes there was only one. So obviously it was no concern to the voting public in Albany County, the size of the legislature.
Well, you also have to look into, and I don't know when the dates that these hearings were held, but I certainly am someone who follows redistricting closely, and I didn't know that they were held.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was, there are times when you can have a public hearing on.
Are you suggesting that we have at a time when people can't attend?
Yeah, I think you,
No,
and I think you need to have a public hearing that is not just public, but that people know that it's actually happening. I mean, I just don't know how
Well,
many
we publicize
people,
it though. I mean, it's
But where
always
you
publicized.
publicize it is so buried, and where is it publicized, you know? You know, where are people, where is it publicized? And I don't mean to disagree or have an argument or anything, but
Yeah, no,
I'm just
no,
saying,
no.
well, where do you publicize it so that it hits people in the face? Are you putting signs up on all the telephone poles? Are you putting signs up on, you know, are you leafleting the whole city so everyone gets a leaflet in their door? You know, I mean,
No,
how much
no.
of an extent?
No,
are
we don't
you
go to that
really
extreme.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, Mark, you can extend the argument even further. How many people, first of all, how many people who know the Vice President of the United States? And even clearly, if you would go to how many, and I don't know, I'm just asking, how many people would know who their Albany County Legislator is?
Right.
Who he is, let alone an issue,
Well,
tell me a major issue. And
That's a good point, which is another argument for the size of the legislature. I can almost walk my legislative district, other than way up there by Yarborough. But the rest of it, I can literally walk it, which simply means that everyone in my district know who I am, and I know most of the people by their first names. That's one of the advantages, I think, of having a smaller district. Because if you cut the numbers of legislators, you obviously enlarge the districts.
Right.
Therein, you bring in other kinds of problems, and that is because it costs you money to run. If you make them so large that you got to raise a lot of money to run in a district, well, that just brings in other kinds of problems. You know, you got to go to organizations, you have to go to lobbyists and whomever in order to raise funds to run. We don't have to do that currently because we're so small. So, you know, so you can look at it either way. I suppose you could argue either way. You could probably spend the rest of the evening arguing over, you know, and we do
The pro
that.
and con,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering, so you don't feel, you're one of the ones who doesn't feel that it should be downsized because that would increase the number of constituents that you would have to represent?
That's only one reason.
And the fact that you would have to also fundraise
Yes.
to get elected?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
If you get to the point where, you know, the districts are so large.
And to save the county money, do you think that it would save $1 million like they're estimating if you went down to 24
Well, they're not
seats?
estimating saving $1 million because, you know, every analysis that we do, it shows that the savings on the tax, on an average tax bill, taking an average house in Albany County, would be almost minute. It would be less than, it's not $1 million, it'd be somewhere less than, I think we did one study that showed it'd be less than $100 on your taxes for the whole county. Now, you know, that's the extreme end of it,
And
really.
there's 300,000 residents in Albany County?
Yes, a little better than that, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, what is the savings as compared to the representation you give folks for that kind of savings? And I agree, taxes are too high in Albany County or in New York State.
In New York State?
Yeah, Albany County has one of the lowest tax probably of all the counties.
Really, I didn't know.
Well,
that.
under Dan McCoy.
On the Dan McCoy, sure.
It wasn't true under Mike Breslin. It's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We have not raised taxes. We've stayed under the cap, the 2% cap.
You got the
and
nursing home back in shape?
We got it back in shape. That's correct. You know, the nursing home had really went down, but now it's really, we have a director out there that's fantastic.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
Yeah, he's fantastic. You know, he really is doing a great job.
And you don't expect to be seeing the inside of that nursing home anytime soon?
I hope not.
Okay.
But I've said to
You
them,
just wanna
I've
go
said to
visit.
him, at any time I could be coming out there, you know. So let's get it in shape.
So are you still chair of the Public Works Committee?
Yes, I am.
And is that because you had a career at Office of General Services that fits, or was this?
Well, I suppose the leadership of the legislature perhaps took that into consideration, my longevity in OGS, and so, you know, familiar with purchasing and all those other aspects that OGS is involved with. So I had nothing to do with being
appointed
chair of the. No.
No, you didn't go to Frank and
No. No,
suggest that?
No.
Okay. And you're also on court facilities and public safety committees?
yeah, court facilities, I was the chair of that. During the
Right.
construction, the renovation of the county courthouse.
Yeah, at that
But I'm-
time,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
at
sorry.
at that time, you were on the audit and finance, which you're not anymore.
No,
And
I'm
mass
still-
transit, you're not anymore, and civic center, you're not anymore.
Okay, I'm chair of the Public Works Committee.
Right.
I am on the Audit and Finance Committee.
You are?
Yes.
Well, you gotta update your.
I know, that the whole thing need to be updated.
Yes, okay.
But, and I'm,
What
I'm
other
on,
committees? Keep going.
This is
and
the
I'm on the
bio.
public
yeah.
safety.
This is the bio on the website, county legislative
Yeah,
website.
we haven't updated in several
Well-
years.
Well, now that you have Dennis Yusko there, you can
Yeah,
get on
yeah,
him
yeah.
to
Yeah, he's a
to
good man.
update this. He's doing good work.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention that, there are things that have happened in your life that needs to be updated
Yes,
here.
you're absolutely correct.
So
And I keep saying that I'm going in and update that, because there is a lot of stuff that's missing and need to be updated.
and put in past tense.
Put in
or
past
present
tense, yeah, right.
So
Right.
are you, are you into social media? Do you do Facebook and Twitter and?
Well, I hate to admit that, yeah, I do some of that. I do,
You
I do
do?
Facebook, I don't do the, no.
You don't do tweets?
No.
Okay. So, but you do Facebook, you get the word out to your constituents that way, or?
Well, I do Facebook, but I'm not that sophisticated to go in and do that, no, no.
Okay, well, I thought I'd ask you because you never know. I mean,
Well, maybe you could teach me how that whole thing works.
Well, you're on the Albany Water Board also.
Yes.
Which is separate from your county legislative role.
Yes, it's a city
Right.
board.
And the chairman or the director, commissioner,
Commissioner.
Joe Coffey.
Joe Coffey.
He tweets.
Yeah, I know you do. We
And-
get them
and-
all the time.
And I was, he was here, he was a guest on the show, and I thought that was the headline for me, that Joe Coffey tweets, I
He
was-
does it all the time. He's a fantastic man.
But if you're not on Twitter, then how do you get his tweets?
Well, he does it more than just, he emails us.
Yeah. His
So,
tweets.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you call that, but he just regular email.
Okay.
He sends all the board members on his activities.
Right.
And fantastic gentleman.
So did he, on his activities, did he tell you that he was on the show, The Jewish View, recently?
No, I didn't
You
see
see,
that.
that's part of his activities. You got to tell him that.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I'm guilty of not really reading that every day.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay.
that's my problem. There's so much. There's so many of them. you
Yes,
know.
there is. So, what is your proudest moment, I should say, in 13 years on the county legislature?
Proudest, well, I would have to think about that a little bit, but offhand, I've sponsored or co-sponsored probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of hundred pieces of legislation over that period of time.
Yeah.
And one of the, and I just kind of jotted down to refreshen my memory, is legislation dealing with. There's actually three pieces of legislation. One is dealing with toys and
Toxic toys?
toxic toys. Yes, I thought that was a good piece of legislation. Part of my background is that I was a police officer,
Oh,
among many other things,
okay.
and so I came to
Albany Police
the
Department?
state. I was with the Capitol Police,
Oh,
which
really?
then merged with the state police. Yes.
Wow.
And one of the problems that some of the states had was with the cell phones, and what they were coming out with is a cell phone cover that looked like a gun.
Gun, right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was creating some problems, and in some of the states, and so we passed a piece of legislation that essentially prohibited the selling of those
Right.
in Albany County.
So what I'm basically asking is, did you, walking away from a county legislative meeting,
Okay.
that you could say, this was a good day? I'm this is why I'm here. This, because of what I just did here, this is what makes it all worthwhile. And that's one of those proud moments that I'm looking to see if you...
Well, it's hard to name because there's been many times when I felt good when I left there,
Right.
when I left the chamber, that we had passed the legislation, or that we had that was things that had a direct impact on not only my constituents, but the constituents throughout Albany County. There's been many of those times, and to sit down and try to figure out which was the proudest time or the best time is kind of hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to think about that a
Is
little
this
bit.
like saying which of your children are your favorite?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. That's right. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you get along with the Republicans, or you don't, in the county legislature, or you don't have much interaction with them, or what do you feel?
Oh yeah. I get along with them well. On my committee that I chair, the Public Works Committee, we have the members of the committee. Some are Republicans.
Yeah, like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Right.
about 3.
Okay.
And we have a wonderful working relationship, and there's others that are not on my committee that I have a good
Yeah.
relationship. Yes, as I stated previously, I'm a people's person.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me that you're Republican or Democrat.
Okay.
We have a mission to accomplish, and I do that by interacting with whoever on the legislature that I have to.
Are you, when are you up for, you just ran for re-election?
Just ran. I just got reelected.
Another 4 years.
Yeah, well, I'm in the first year of the 4-year period.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you'll be 84 when your term is up. 83,
Oh yeah,
84.
and I'll still be energetic and ready to go.
Okay, it's like
God willing.
I hate to say this because it's not quite analogous, but it's like, well, a Strom Thurmond in the Senate, or a John Markey in the state Senate, and you just keep going along.
Yeah. John Egan, that we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
when he called me back to come to OGS as assistant commissioner, one of the things he said, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing what people do when they retire. I mean, they do whatever they want to do, or, he said, nah, he says, you're sitting down, you don't want to do that. And so I guess that might have been the secret to his longevity, and hopefully it will be mine, and that is that you keep busy. And so I keep busy with all these things that I do, whether it's the legislature, whether it's the water board, whether it's my church. I'm a member of a vice president of 100 Black Men.
Yeah, I saw that.
So all of that stuff, it takes up a lot of time.
Does the Black Lives Matter movement interest you at all, or is that something that you're passionate about, or?
It interests me only that I think they present a platform that is in fact legitimate. And I'm not involved in it only because I don't even know if they have a local chapel. I don't really know. But
You can ask Alice Green, I'm sure she'll know.
Absolutely.
So-
But it's something that certainly if I was asked to participate,
Yeah. Mike, just bring your mic up.
if I was asked to participate, I would,
Right.
but I've never been asked.
Oh, okay. So, you first joined, so Capitol Police was under OGS?
Yes.
When you first joined?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that's why you were with OGS for so long.
Yeah, I was with the
I see.
Capitol Police, and then they brought me upstairs where I became a director of the first Minority Women-Owned Business Program,
Yeah.
which I organized and ran for, 8, 9 years or something like that before.
Do you like what Andrew Cuomo's doing with MWBE, getting it up to like 30%?
It's 30%, absolutely, oh, sure.
Because I said to him pretty soon we're not going to have any white men to. What do white men do? And he says, you still got 70%.
Yeah, that's right.
That's minority women business enterprises.
Yes.
And basically they give certain reductions or favorite status to women and
minorities.
minority-owned businesses.
And it's not a set-aside.
Right.
What it is set-asides are actually illegal. But starting back, who was it that I came in under?
Mario?
Was it Mario started it, yes.
Yeah.
And, the governor decided that in conjunction with the state legislature,
Yeah.
that we were essentially letting millions and millions of dollars of contracts, and minority and women-owned businesses was excluded, wasn't a part of it, was getting very little of it. Mm-hmm. So that he instructed the Office of General Services to come up with a program, keeping in mind that OGS is the state's purchasing agency. And they purchase everything from pins to airplanes, you name it, everything in between. And so they brought me upstairs as the first director to start to organize and start the program, and which is going full bloom now.
Right. Well, so that's a source of pride for you. You could see something that you've started as just from the ground up.
Oh yeah, they brought me in January, February.
Of 83, 84?
No, this year.
I'm talking about in the beginning, when you first started.
Oh yeah, it was something that there was no program.
Right, so it was like 84 or something?
Yeah, there was no program, and so I organized and started the program, and yes, and they gave me an award. The governor gave me an award a few months back for being the organizer and the first director of the program.
That's great.
Yeah, I was very proud of that.
And I'm sure a lot of people don't know this about you.
Yeah,
I'm sure that there's a lot of people who, don't even, they think of you only in your current role.
Yeah.
And you got a wealth of talent behind you, and it's.
Yeah, I've had, I don't know about talent, but I certainly had a lot of.
Well, because here you are you were in law enforcement. You were a
Yes.
police officer.
Yes.
So obviously there's trust and credibility that comes along with that, and to put someone in charge of purchasing, which is one of them, could be bereft with graft and corruption.
Correct.
That you were chosen says a lot about who you are.
Yeah, well, I like to think that, and
So
certainly I'm proud
don't be modest. I mean, this is something that,
It's
I
good
really
to be
think,
modest over
but I
here.
think
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
something
yeah.
that you should
I
really
was
be
proud
proud
of
of,
it.
because that's really something else.
Belongs to the church, so he knows you to be humble and
That's
to
right,
be
that's
modest
correct,
as part of the
Oh,
religious feeling.
and you have union involvement.
Yes, at the time that's another chapter of my life where when I was a police officer, I was elected president of the Capitol Police, and I was the only African American on the force, but somehow or another I got elected president.
Because everyone took 2 steps back and you stayed there and you never.
Yeah, and I was also elected treasurer of the statewide union, where in both positions I stayed for 12 years.
Wow.
And so, yes, I was the first and only Capitol Police captain in the history of the organization. So I have a lot to be proud about, and
That's great.
yeah.
And you have 2 children?
Yes.
And they're living locally? Or?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, they live right here in Albany.
Well, at least they didn't have some, flight and go to other states or something. At least.
No, they stayed here in Albany, as I've spent my life here,
Yeah.
essentially.
And your wife Emma?
Yeah, she just passed.
She
Yes,
passed away
in April.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
My condolences to you.
Thank you so much.
And that was a long partnership.
Yes, it was. We were married since. Actually, I was 18 and I was 19, she was 18 when we got married. And so we were married for 60 years, 61 years actually.
Wow.
So it was a it was a long and blessed relationship. And, you know, I miss her dearly.
I'm sure you do.
You know, she was a very intricate part of my life, and when I lost her, I felt half of my life. Because she was with me from the very beginning, right to just a few months ago.
She supported you all the way
Yeah, she sure
through
did.
all these years, and
She sure did.
that's what it takes to keep the family
And that
together.
goes for everything, church
exactly.
and everything else, you know.
So,
All right.
So
Rabbi,
Bill,
you got some
listen, we're
words
out of time, but we actually know that you've had an incredible life, and as the Lubavitch Rebbe says, you know, never to retire. You have so much talent and experience in your background, so keep using it for the good people of the Albany County, and we wish you much success, and do it with good health.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
That continued success.
Thank you so much.